In episode 19 of my Hiking the Continental Divide Trail series, we departed Atlantic City, Wyoming, exploring the historic gold mining village of South Parr City, steeped in Wild West lore. After a resupply and lander, we venture into grizzly bear territory, heightening the stakes. The journey peaks with the jaw-dropping Cirque of the Towers alternate, one of the CDT's most spectacular alpine wonderlands, boasting jagged peaks and pristine lakes. We wrap up in Pinedale, Wyoming, after an unforgettable leg of history, wildlife and breathtaking scenery. Join us for this epic adventure. Today is a day of sightseeing with a little bit of hiking thrown in on top. We had an interrupted night when a freak windstorm blew through at around 11 p.m. I was first awakened by 2 loud thunderclaps. While it only sprinkled rain, the wind was very strong. Next thing I heard was Chip Crusher outside his tent re-hammering in his tent stakes. It was about 10 minutes later and I was out there too when one of my stakes pulled loose. We were up early and packed up and waiting for the restaurant to open at 7 a.m. But when 7 a.m. comes and goes, we start to doubt if they are actually going to open at all. I ring the number but no answer. We decide to head off when Paulie texts me to say that they actually open at 8 a.m, contrary to what the sign on the window says. We decide to wait, seeing as though we don't have a big day on. Dale turns up, and while I don't think he's a morning person, he looks after us with a hearty breakfast of bacon, eggs and sausage. We wash this down with 2 pancakes, and I note Chip Crush and I nearly polished off a whole jug of maple syrup. It is crazy windy on the road leaving Atlantic City, heading for another historic town called South Parr City. The ferocious winds of yesterday afternoon, which normally only come up in the afternoon, are at full force first thing this morning. It is incredibly strong. Time to get going, and it's straight uphill out of Atlantic City. All of a sudden, that breakfast is sitting like a brick in my stomach. Oh well, it was nice at the time. I guess you have to pay somewhere. The wind is blowing a full force gale right from the get-go. We have 3 miles to the next historic gold mining town of South Parr City. We make it to South Parr City. It's now a preserved historic tourist town with many original buildings. It's similar to Sovereign Hill in Ballarat, where I grew up, but on a much smaller scale. We tour the buildings and enjoy the look around. I even pan for some gold and find a few specks. I'm not sure if it's real or if they seed the stream, but I found a little bit. We finished the excursion with a root beer and an ice cream, and now it's another 3 miles to the highway. At the highway, we find it not that conducive to getting a hitch, so we walk a bit further down where there is some room for a car to pull over. The traffic is all motoring along, it's not looking good. This sign states, wind gusts 60 miles per hour plus. Tell me about it. We've had that and more for the last 4 days. Unfortunately, our hitching luck runs out here as we wait 2 hours for a lift. Eventually, a climber named Helen comes to our rescue and she drops us right in the middle of Lander. I plan to have 2 days rest and catch up on my posts while also recovering from a pretty rugged 2 weeks. I might just even get myself a massage to heal my aching muscles and bones. Can you believe only 10 miles ago we left the highway in the Great Divide Basin maybe 3 or 4 miles after the highway, we started climbing this little range, and I just can't believe how terrain can just be so different in such a short space of time and distance. Beautiful green forests, crystal clear, beautiful water, just sparkling. On the balance beam representing the United States of America, we have Chip Crusher. Look at this man go. He's an expert. Good work. The hiking is very enjoyable today. While we are heading upwards, the hills are not steep and I make light work of getting up and over them. The other delight today is the water quality. First, there is so much more water around, but more importantly, it is crystal clear and tastes beautiful. After the terrible cow pond water and creek water that tasted like dirt, this water is just exceptional. Back on trail after a couple of days in Lander. Got through the first day, set up camp, and I thought I would do a short little clip to introduce you to my new accessory, best friend as it were, gonna come with me everywhere I go, and it is the new counter assault bear deterrent. I hope it works, but more importantly, I hope I don't ever have to need it. While I had no concerns about black bears in New Mexico and Colorado, grizzlies are a whole different story. So it is back to hanging the bear bag in the trees and eating away from our tents. But the most important thing is the addition of the bear deterrent spray. I sure hope I don't need it, but it's a must-have from now on, all the way to the Canadian border. Seeing as though we're now in the beginning of grizzly country, it's back to hanging the old bear bag. I've actually enjoyed not having to do it. To be honest, I haven't done it really for nearly all of Colorado, like New Mexico, since that time when I lost it, or I couldn't remember where I put it. But we're in more dangerous territory now, so back to doing the right thing. Today we are heading towards the Wind River Range and are going to take the Cirque of the Towers alternate. They say if you only take one alternate trail on the CDT, then the Cirque of the Towers is it. Before we get there though, we have 16 kilometres or 10 miles to cover first. We start out heading down into a lush green valley. We cross lots of little streams, some with bridges, others we rock hop across, and some we have to rely on fallen tree log jams. While the trail is soggy and muddy in places, I managed to keep my feet dry all morning, all day as it turns out. While we are not in the Cirque of the Towers yet, the trail is so picturesque. We pass little shallow streams with rocky bottoms. The water is so amazingly crystal clear. It's cool, refreshing and tastes beautiful. After the water in the basin, this stuff is pure. We hike through pine forest with its lovely shade from the already hot morning sun. A few miles before we reach the Cirque of the Towers, the trail starts heading upwards and quite steep in a couple of sections. It's a bit of a heart starter, and I'm wondering, is this just a little warm up before the real thing? Look at someone's fine work. Won't mention any names, but someone beginning with the initials CC perhaps. We make it to the Cirque alternate, and it is probably 2 miles before the first bit of beauty of this trail is revealed. We are high on a cliff, but we should actually be down on the valley floor. I'm not sure where or how we missed the trail which led down there. Anyway, we climb down through a steep rock opening, and once we are on the valley floor, we start to get a look at the majestic towers ahead of us. It's funny, we're up here, this rock ledge, and you can see behind us, the trail's down there. We need to go down somehow, not over this cliff. We follow Little Sandy Creek upstream. The valley floor is lush with green grass, and the Rocky Mountains rise up sharply on both sides. Again, the water is crystal clear. Even in the lakes, while shallow, you can see right to the bottom. The water is so crystal clear. Can't tell, but there's a little trout just hiding behind the rocks there. Just absolutely beautiful water. I've travelled up this valley floor here, following the little creek. We are heading around this way Now we have to start and rise up and get out of this valley, and I believe we head up over through that saddle. I'll zoom in a little bit. We get up and over just through there. Look out, Chip Crusher is going in. Why wouldn't he? I'll tell you why. He's going to be freezing in there. And even though it's quite warm today, the wind's quite chilly. Check this view though. Here he is, he's going in. I suspect it's mighty chilly in there.
Oh yeah.
Got a little visitor. Where you going? You like sleep much? Sleep my foals. Looking the salt off the rocks. I know. Well, we've reached the end of this valley and facing a dead end, and the only way out is up straight over that little saddle there. Not sure how we do it. It's going to be a bit of a rocky scramble. I wonder when I jumped in that lake, it took my breath away. It was so cold. That far corner is still covered in ice. We came up through that valley there. Dived in that freezing cold lake there. And now we're going up over this pass. Nearly at the top. Bit of a rocky, loose gravel or scree. Scramble across that little section. While going up the pass was not too bad, it is going down the other side that causes the problems. This trail is so dangerous. It's so slippery coming down there, so steep. And you get on this loose gravel, it just slides out from under you. Already come a gutser. Smashed my elbow. Another day on the CDT. Look at that view though, that makes up for it. Looks like Chip Crusher's moved in. Found himself his new abode.
Can't beat it.
Check this out for a rock climber's dream. Crazy. We head off the Cirque alternate a short way and over to Clear Lake Reservoir and cross over an amazing granite field. It is all solid slabs of stone on the ground and then it is littered with an amazing array of boulders and rocks. It looks incredible. We head around Clear Lake and not long after we rejoin the proper alternate trail. It is now after 6 p.m. and we have been going for over 12 hours. Time to find a camp and I spot a place back off the foreshore. We must be camped at least 200 feet from a water source and this fits the bill. We've got a great view of the lake and the surrounding mountains. The only dampener is the mosquitoes. They even get me through my clothes tonight. Can you guys see the mosquitoes out there? They are unbelievable. They're biting me through my clothes and all. Nice view out there though. Still, it has been an amazing day and the best of the Cirque of the Towers is yet to come. We have another 10 miles to do through the towers tomorrow and from all reports, the most iconic parts are in store for us there. We leave Big Sandy Lake behind as we switch back up for the first kilometre of the day. We are heading up another pass to gain access to the next valley along. Over the top we head into a maze of huge granite boulders. The trail twists and turns and weaves its way through these giants. I wonder who first pioneered this route and am amazed how they found a way through. It is not long before we are at the end of this valley and it's time to climb up over the next pass. The Mozzies are out in force today. Normally they give us a couple of hours grace in the morning, but today they show us no mercy. We come to a junction at the end of the valley and there is a direction sign. One arrow points downhill and reads climber's route, the other points uphill, which is our route, and sends us up over huge granite boulders once again. How does that work? Climbers must be soft, we reckon. Chip Crusher made the very apt comment, if you see a gentle trail, it's not the CDT. That is certainly proving the case today as we go up and over one pass after another. Up and over another pass, down into more spectacular scenery. But the worry for us is, at the pointer out, we head down this way, around the lake, and then I think we have to get up over this pass, up through that snowfield. I'm not looking forward to that. Is this spectacular or what? Hold on. Texas Pass is the last pass we have to get over to leave the Cirque of the Towers, and it is a beauty. I spot it from a distance as we look out over the beautiful lonesome lake. It's very dauntingly high with a snow chute at the top. I'm not looking forward to this one. Alright, nearly there. I'm from way down the bottom there. Quick view of the mountains on the side. And now we just have to get up over this snowy pass. This is the way over the top. You could go up through the snow chute. I figured these granite boulders would be easier. Not so sure now. Like getting there. And we've made it to the top. Hard work, but we got there. Trying to descend down here is often slower than climbing up. It's just so treacherous with the loose gravel, rocky scree, and when it's so steep like it is here, just always slipping. Check this out. Doesn't look as steep on the film as it does when you actually experience it. But it's so steep coming down there. Gravel is so slippery. We swing around. There's our view. And we head out down that way around to the left. Finally, I make it to the bottom, and thankfully I didn't hit the deck on the way down, so that's a bonus. Now we get to enjoy walking along the valley floor for a while. While the trail undulates from here, there are no more passes to climb. It does climb up into forests and descend down into lush green meadows. The scenery is still spectacular. This is Billy's Lake, which prompts me to say hi to Bill in Ireland and all Jackie's family. Hope you're all well. At a river crossing, I call out to Chip Crusher to tell him that I'm stopping to get some water. As I'm rock hopping across, I look up to see if he's heard me and lose concentration. Of course, I slip in off the last rock, both feet wet now. Chip Crusher responds with, "What was that? You wanted to get your feet wet?" He's such a joker. I'm all grumpy now, but about 10 minutes later we come to another creek crossing, and guess what? There's no escaping getting your feet wet. So I just charge on through. It just goes to show you, you shouldn't worry about such little things. Here we are looking back into the Cirque of the Towers. We complete the Cirque of the Towers alternate and rejoin the official CDT. It has taken over 7 hours to do 10 miles. Slow going, but absolutely worth it. In typical CDT fashion, we head straight into a massive climb on leaving the Cirque. We climb basically back up to the same height as Texas Pass. At the top, the terrain opens up into a huge alpine meadow. It's back to being windy because it's so open, but at least this keeps the mosquitoes away. Looking back, the views of the Cirque are still on show. I just can't get enough of them. They are just incredible. Over the top, big wide open meadow, no mountains there in the background. I believe we're heading that way. There's a couple of hikers in front of us. They're not doing the CDT, but their pace is much quicker than ours. And it's funny how you can lift a little bit to keep up. Check this out. It's like we're at the beach. I thought it was rather odd until I checked the name of the lake. And the lake is called Sandpoint Lake. So it all makes sense. We've been hiking for just short of 12 hours and we figure this will do for our camp. So under threat from a barrage of mosquitoes, I set my tent, cook up some dinner, and it's time to pile into my little sanctuary. Time for some respite from those pesky little biters. This is not what I wanted. 2 minutes out of camp, a long creek crossing. We have a huge day today to get through. Not so much in CDT trail miles, but also off-trail miles as we head down into the town of Pinedale for another resupply. We have 27 kilometres to get through on the CDT, and then it is about another 20 kilometres down to Elkhart Park Trailhead. It is from there that we'll hitch into Pinedale. I passed through a green meadow and it is a good snapshot of the trail for the day. We are surrounded by granite rocks and boulders, big boulders even. Rock mountains and big mountains in the background. There are many streams and creeks. Some we can rock hop across, others it's wade on through. Then it is alpine lakes, big and small. The scenery is just beautiful. These mountain lakes are just brimming with trout. You see so many through the crystal clear water. You see all those little circles where they break the surface. Just beautiful. I'm in the middle of climbing up to Hat Pass. I assume that's it, where that little snowy section is. Oops, trip number 879. Oh, made it to the top of Hat Pass. How's the view? make out those mountains way up in the background, but they are high looking, and usually when I see mountains way up in the background, not long before we head that way and end up in them, we'll see. The trail today, so it's all mostly a rocky trail, lots of granite boulders all around the place, pine trees, rocky mountains, big mountains, and lakes and little creeks and streams, and green meadows too, just like this one. Another creek crossing, had a few of those today, wet feet. But this one might be a chance of staying dry, we'll see. Maybe, probably not, who knows. Let's see, we'll go from there to there. Skip over that one, that's a bit of a jump, that could be trouble. That's probably going to be trouble right off the beginning. Cross those. Maybe over those two, then I'm going to get caught on the far side. Anyway, we'll give it a lash. Can you believe I actually did it? Only got one little splash right at the end. Nothing major though. This is how you eat lunch when you're surrounded by mozzies. Wrap inside the head net, as with the hands. Everything else is covered up. It's been a long day and this trail never seems to end. The person on trail told us we had 4 miles to the trailhead. That was about 6 miles ago, and still it takes forever to turn up. Who knew Wyoming had such majestic mountains? I certainly didn't. Chip Crusher just commented, "You sure we're not back in Colorado?" Finally we make it to the trailhead, and the next thing to do is get a hitch into Pinedale. This shouldn't be too hard looking at the car park. There are cars with registration plates from all over the place. From Texas to North Carolina, Pennsylvania and Michigan. There's even a car here from Alaska. The next thing, a guy calls out, "Would we like a lift?" I look over and reply, "Is that you, Golden?" And sure enough, it is. We left him back on day 2 out of Rawlins. He suffered from terrible cramps and dehydration in the desert heat. With no shade and long water carries, he decided to cut across to the highway and hitch back to town. He has skipped up to Pinedale and is continuing on the CDT from here. We all head into town and grab a meal together and spend the evening recounting some of the crazy adventures we've all been through.